to the products you need to know about, to wild places and extreme adventure, bringing it all together in one place. Pull up a seat by the fire, my friend. This is today's Wilderness.
And my guest today on today's Wilderness is Steve Scott from the Whitetail Institute of North America. Steve, welcome to the show.
Kevin, I appreciate you having me.
I've been really looking forward to this because you guys are such a player in the world of big whitetails that I really wanted to have you guys on, talk about this, talk about the Whitetail Institute, what you guys do, what you provide. I do articles routinely on food plot and managing, and you guys play such a critical role in that. I'm really glad to have you on the show. What I wanted to do was kind of go into some of the history of the Whitetail Institute of North America. I was just on your website here actually a little bit before the show. I've been on it several times. Maybe start off with your website. Exactly is the website address for folks to get over to you?
Kevin, first of all, I appreciate those kind words, and we'll talk about the history of the Whitetail Institute a lot. As far as, contacting us, one of the best ways is on the internet, of course, is whitetailinstitute.com. And for those other internet challenged folks like me, we got to have a www up front. But whitetailinstitute.com, there's a wealth of information there. It's a lot of articles on how to do food plots, common mistakes made, benefits that are provided, how to select the correct products, how to get started. It's got everything from beginners to the most experienced people. If people are interested in doing food plots, there's really not much better way to get information than going to the website. And one other thing I will mention right off the bat is something that we're doing is we're offering a brand new DVD. It's about an hour long. Got a tremendous amount of information on it about, how to select products, how to plant food plots, how to be successful, how to hunt them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're giving that away with a sample of our Imperial Whitetail Clover. It's just a small sample for testing. But they get that. All they're going to pay is for shipping and handling $6.95. So that's a great way for them to kind of find out about food plots, see what's involved, and just really inexpensive. And they can get that at our website, whitetailinstitute.com, or by calling our 800 number, 800-688-3030.
Excellent. I saw you have a photo gallery on there as well, a little bit, some of folks' success stories there.
There is. There's, literally hundreds of them on there, and something that, we're adding more and more to it every day pretty much. We've got thousands and thousands of testimonials from all over the country, from Maine to Minnesota and Florida to Texas and everywhere in between. Even the world record deer was killed there in Iowa. The guy was using Imperial Whitetail Clover. I felt like it helped play a role in holding the deer on his property and in growing him. So that deer, as well as a bunch of Boone and Crockett, a bunch of Pope and Young, and just a nice deer on there. And we've even got a section where hunters that have killed their first deer, whether it be kids or adults. Some of them are does, some of them are spikes, but some of these pictures, you can see the grin on the people's face, and people can think back I've killed, literally hundreds of deer in my life, but I can remember the first one better than all of the rest of them put together.
Isn't that the truth? Tell us, how did this all get started? Where did the Whitetail Institute of North America come from?
Foresight on the founder's part was Ray Scott. He started it formally back in 1988, but I always pestered him when I was little. I got hooked on hunting when I was about 12 years old, and I kept pestering him, and he kind of slowly but surely started to get hooked on it too. And we've always traditionally planted wheat, rye, and oats like everybody did back in the early 70s and mid-70s. But slowly but surely we started trying some different things and stumbled across some clover back, I guess it would have been, in the early 80s. We found that deer were walking through some of our traditional stuff to get to our clover. And I have to give Ray Scott the credit for wanting to know why. He started finding out some things that, it's not just one time. It was happening over and over again. And he started doing some experimentation, some more testing, and ended up going to an agronomist from a PhD from Auburn University and talking to him about it, and found out that the nutritional value was sky high. Not only the attraction, but the protein was sky high. We started killing a little bit better deer and better deer each year, and one thing led to another. He said, if it's working for us, I'm willing to bet that the rest of the world would like to know about it as well. In 1988, he started spending some money, hired the agronomist, develop our own particular clovers, be in charge of all seeds, and spending some money on advertising, letting the world know that we had this stuff available. And we went from, in the late 80s, 1980s, we used to have to explain what a food plot was, literally. Somebody called and said, now what's a food plot? believe that or not. And when we look at it today, it's pretty common knowledge what a food plot is and the benefits that they provide. We could spend hours and hours and hours talking about the benefits. Main thing people will see, they're going to have an opportunity to see more deer. And by using the right stuff, they can also see better quality deer.
You have a degree in business, right?
I do, yes, sir. I majored in accounting and hardly can do my own tax return. I did go through college and got a degree and got out and got a job in sales, outside sales, and found out what it was like to have to go out and grind it out and make a living. It was a great preparation for this job, which when we started, we were, putting in those 60 and 80-hour weeks, following each other around, turning lights off, trying to keep the business afloat as we explained what a food plot was, went through the proving stage, and fortunately we were able to weather that and have become, very successful.
So you started with one product, and you went from it.
There's probably, I'd say, 12 or 15 different products. And we did start with Imperial Whitetail Clover, and that's what we're most known for. And at the end of the day, somebody asked me, with a gun to my head, hey, what's the best thing I can plant? I'm going to say Imperial Whitetail Clover, because it is. But what we found in time was you really need good, heavy soil that holds moisture for Imperial Whitetail Clover to do all the things that it can do, because it's shallow-rooted. There's situations where there's soils that are more well-drained. We've developed products for that application. People may not have all the equipment needed to be real successful with those perennial crops. We've got a product called No Plow. We've developed products that people with a couple hand tools can plant a spot and get a bag of seed that costs them less than $10. A product called Secret Spot. We've got mineral products that are extremely attractive to deer, but go much beyond that in that they're also nutritional aids from a standpoint of providing the macro minerals and the micro minerals that deer need for overall health and antler development.
Excellent.
So the list goes on and on.
You have truly grown in your product line. This is an interesting business success story that's not only benefited you as to who produced the product, but has really benefited the public at large that want to do better things with their deer herds. This is an outstanding success story in my book. What I wanted to do was take a little bit of a break and come back and talk about, being one of those folks who wants to buy some food plotting material, go out and kind of how to do this. What do I need to do, and more of the benefits of that. So if that would work, I think, if we just take a quick break, we'll come back and talk more with Steve Scott from the Whitetail Institute North America. We're going to talk a little bit more about food plotting and how it's done when we come back.
Looking for a place that thinks of your passion for adventure and wild places first? Then get your bookmarks ready. Water and Woods Network offers unique and exclusive material to you, the avid outdoorsman, from sites like deerfever.com, proven deer hunting tips, techniques, and the gear to put that knowledge to work. Get the knowledge, grab the gear. waterandwoods.net, home of the popular Water and Woods online magazine. We're dedicated to the outdoors. Outdoor News Daily, a heaping helping of outdoor news and events served up fresh on a daily basis. If you have an appetite for the outdoors, then pull up a chair and browse on over to waterandwoodsnetwork.com. That's waterandwoodsnetwork.com.
Deer season. For many hunters, just the mere mention stirs memories and expectations. For others, well, let's just say the reaction isn't quite the same. What sets these two different classes of hunters apart? Knowledge. Whether you scored on a big monster whitetail buck this year, or simply filled your freezer with a nice hefty doe, congrats from the staff at deerfever.com. If you spent another year hoping to fill your tag, then let us help you make next year more productive. We can't guarantee your next deer, but we can guarantee the tools and knowledge to help you succeed. Visit us on the web today at deerfever.com and get your season started.
And we're back on today's Wilderness with my guest, Steve Scott from the Whitetail Institute of North America. And we were talking in our last segment about some of the history of the Whitetail Institute. And as promised, we wanted to come back and talk about some of the actual the how-tos or the what's required, those kind of things. And we have a short list of things that we jotted down to talk about as a guide. More ideas. The more I talk to Steve's a very engaging guy. I'm sure that you're going to enjoy the rest of this. Steve, one of the things I noticed, and I was even seeing it right on your website as well, is that people don't take the time to get the soil samples done on their property before any food plot, before they even go out and attempt this kind of stuff. Is that pretty accurate?
Well, it's gotten a lot better. I'll say that. I think what's happened is people like me, they try something. If it doesn't work, then go back and read the directions the second time around. And I say that slightly tongue-in-cheek. But if people are going to do food plots, the number one thing they need to remember to do is they need to do a soil test. It's inexpensive. It's simple to do. Takes a little bit of time, but it offers tremendous information that will allow them to be as successful as possible with their investment of time and money in a food plot. What it does, it takes all the guesswork out as far as what does that soil needs to be added to that soil. For example, lime and how much and what type fertilizer needs to be added to allow whatever crop they're going to be planting to flourish as opposed to struggle. For example, Imperial Whitetail Clover, talked about that product a lot earlier, can last 3 to 5 years from a single planting. Makes it extremely economical because they only buy seed one time in 3, 4, 5 years. But to get that, they really need to make sure that the pH of the soil is correct. A soil test will tell them that, tell them what they need to do to amend it if it needs it, but also it tells them about how much and which type fertilizer is needed to allow that crop to flourish, better compete against weeds, grasses. It will produce more tonnage. It will be more attractive to the deer, withstand negative weather situations much better if the fertility in the pH is right. And the only way to do that is to do a soil test. Soil testing services are available all over the place through agriculture universities, soil conservation services. We offer them here at the Whitetail Institute. They can call our 800 number. We'll do the soil test for them and tell them exactly what they need to do to be successful. And if we don't talk about anything else, soil testing is crucial for people to be successful, and a lot more people are doing them.
Well, and I noticed they can purchase the kit and they put their soil in it and they send it to you. You're gonna turn that around in what it says, approximately 10 business days, something along that line.
Yeah, it will. It'll actually be in our lab in Memphis, Tennessee. It will be in there 24 to 48 hours. They will turn the results back. So typically, when they mail in or ship by UPS the sample, it spend more time in the mail going and coming than it will in the lab itself. But usually 10 days to 2 weeks, they should have the results back, be ready to go.
And I noticed on there as well that it said that you guys will keep the results on file. That way, if the person would have questions later, they could refer back to it, could give them some guidance that way.
Absolutely, and that's something that one of the ways we go above and beyond, I think, the call of duty, and it's one of the things that separates ourselves from, really anybody else, is the customer service that we offer here from 8 to 5 Central Time, Monday through Friday. Our 800 number is available, and we've got guys here and all combined in the office here answering the phone, several hundred years of experience on helping people do food plots. I would say 98% of the questions that can be asked, we can answer them directly, and if we don't have the answer right then, we've got agronomists, biologists, weed scientists, etc., on staff where we can go get the right answer and get back to them. So people need to take advantage of that 800 number. Whether we hope they're using our product, obviously, but no matter what they're using, we'll help them best way we can.
What was that 800 number again?
It's 800-688-3030. They can call it again, 8 to 5 Central Time, Monday through Friday. We're here. We'll be glad to help them any way we can. Look forward to the opportunity.
If I'm going to go out and I'm going to try this, I'm unhappy with my current situation, my current deer herd. I want to enhance it a little bit. How large of an area do I need to have an effective food plot?
Well, and again, when we say effective, it really going to depend on what we're looking at. We're looking to grow bigger deer, or we're looking to attract more deer and things like that. But I think, a good rule of thumb, try to keep them, I'd say a quarter acre. I'm talking about the plots themselves, a quarter acre or bigger. And then you get into different size properties, you get into different, people have less equipment, some people have more equipment and things like that. But, a good rule of thumb, I think, is somewhere if 3 to 5% of their property should be dedicated to food plots. Some people go much higher than that, 10, 12% of their property is in quality food plots. to each his own a little bit there. But the main things people can do, for example, a small property. This is a question that we get a lot and we write about in a magazine we produce called Whitetail News. What to do on a small property, because sometimes these guys get frustrated when they've got, say 40 acres. Trying to practice quality deer management or whatever kind of deer management becomes difficult, because you're not going to hold deer on 40 acres for their entire life. It's just not going to happen. But what they can do is they want to make their property as attractive as possible to get the deer to spend as much time as possible on that property. A lot of times we have a guy that'll write in or call in and say, hey, listen, I got 40 acres my granddad owned, my dad owned, and now I've got it. We've got a few deer that will cross a corner, but they don't spend any time here. We want to make them spend time. We can help them do that. The things they need are good, thick, heavy cover, good habitat where the deer can feel secure, water, and then quality food. If they've got that, they'll get deer to spend more time on their property as opposed to just pass it through occasionally.
So they really need to evaluate their objective as to say, do I want to grow bigger deer or do I want to hold more deer? They would kind of flex according to that objective?
Well, no, they can do all three of the things that people want. They can attract deer, they can hold deer, they can grow bigger deer. But with a quarter-acre plot, how much bigger are you going to be able to grow deer? You're going to be limited somewhat, just simply because how many pounds of food can be produced. The variables there involved, obviously, are going to be how many deer are on their property. If they're in a very low deer density area and just got a few deer, a quarter acre is going to feed those deer and probably feed them pretty well if they plant the right stuff. But if they're in a high deer density area, a quarter-acre plot can easily be overbrowsed.
What if I don't have a lot of time or equipment? Is there a particular product that's a little more suited to me if that's my case?
Absolutely, and we sell a tremendous amount of those products. The products that we develop for that specific application, one would be Imperial No Plow, and another product called Secret Spot, and they're ideal for that last-minute food plot, or, for example, a guy, just doesn't have a tractor or a disc or whatever, but with some hand tools and a few hours of time and a willingness to work a little bit, they can go out there on a Saturday morning, depending on where they are, say August, and find a little opening in the woods or an old logging road or a pond dam or maybe an old home site. Where there's 3 or 4 hours of sunlight hitting the ground a day, they can go out there with those hand tools or, a hand tiller or what have you and bust that ground up good and expose the dirt, add a little bit of fertilizer, and we've got a product called Secret Spots designed exactly for that. That particular product, they can get it for less than $10, and they can go out there and have them a food plot.
Wow. So really, it's not going to take an incredible amount of time to get started. It doesn't take an incredible amount of tools either. You can start seeing results pretty quick with the variety of different products that you guys have. And you're saying only 3 to 4 hours of sunlight a day is what it kind of on a minimum, I'm assuming.
Yes, that's exactly right. That would be a minimum. You've got to have that really to make the science work.
Do some of these products favor better in, say, drier climates? Or, what if I don't get a lot of rain? Traditionally, we've been, in a drought in our particular area. Are there products that thrive better in that you have? Or how would I address something like that?
Yes, there are products that are for more droughty situations, but pretty much I'd say the eastern half of the United States, and they draw a line through the eastern third of North Dakota, South Dakota, and all the way down through East Texas, and go, if you will, east. On that side of the country, really any of our products should work very, very well. It's more the soil dictate which product you plant. For example, if they've got good heavy soil that holds moisture, say a creek bottom, river bottom, or just bottomland soil, Imperial Whitetail Clover is hard to beat. Now, if they've got the side of a hill or an upland type area, they may want to go with a product called Alpha Rack Plus or Extreme. Those products are deeper rooted, work better on that well-drained soil. So pretty much eastern half of the country gets plenty of rainfall to support any of these type crops, but you're going to have, times that are more droughty. You're going to have times that are more wet. And these products are designed to withstand those situations. They're not bulletproof, but they can withstand those type situations in just about all cases. I mean, obviously, if it doesn't rain for 2 or 3 or 4 months during the hot summertime, not much is going to survive, but that's very rare for it to not go without rain that long.
I've now got my food plot area established. I've done my soil test. I've taken the recommendations of what to plant, and it sounds like you've got all of those bases covered. I get my product out there. I get it into the woods. I get the thing growing for me. If I'm looking to improve the quality, rack size of the deer that I'm finding on my land, how soon can I feasibly start to see those type of results in the actual herd that I'm working with?
And that's a fantastic question, and that's one of the misconceptions on applying these type things. I've had people say, "Well, I heard that it takes 3 to 5 years to see results," and that's not really true in my opinion. I think when you put in food plots and you start your food plot program, you're going to see results immediately. Now, with that being said, are you going to see bigger bucks and Boone and Crockett's running all over the place right after you plant? No. Hopefully you attract one in that may have been living down the road or whatever, but you're not going to grow them that quick. But what you will see is you'll see increased deer activity, you'll see more deer, and you will see increased buck activity, more scrapes, more rubs. And the reason being is there's going to be a lot of deer, and especially does, frequenting these food plots. And when the girls are gathered up, when the rut starts, you know what happens. The boys want to show off, and they're going to be there. So you'll see that. Now, with as far as improving the quality of the antlers, obviously they're going to grow antlers from in the spring and summer months. So you want to have a quality product available for them that time of year that provides high protein. The reason being is it gets a little bit more complex, but typically natural browse in most parts of the country is going to provide, say 6 to 10% protein, just Mother Nature providing that. That's about half of what a deer needs to maximize his antler development. So when you come in with a food plot, for example, Imperial Whitetail Clover that can provide up to 35% protein, as he browses around on that Imperial Whitetail Clover and then browses on what Mother Nature's providing, when you average it all together, hopefully he's getting 16 to 18% protein in his diet every day, which will allow him to express his full genetic potential on antlers. As far as seeing a difference, I think you see a difference theoretically in the first year in younger deer. In other words, if you see a lot of little spikes, little bitty fork horns, I think you can see that get upgraded the first year, that it's been available for the entire antler growing month. And then the second year, you should see it, manifest itself in the older age classes. And then each year, it should get better and better and better.
Are there particular products, and this probably crosses over probably pretty well, that support, more of for the doe herd, for the lactation? Those things are, equally as important at those key times of the year when the fawns are down. Do these food plot products support that lactation period as well in the does?
Absolutely. And something that we probably don't talk about enough is protein is very, very important for a lactating doe and also a developing fawn. 2/3 of the fetal growth occurs in the last trimester of pregnancy. And what that means is spring and summer, as that fawn is fetus, if you will, is being developed in the mother's womb. What she's eating is obviously a direct effect on what weight and what health that fawn is going to be born at. And when they're born at a higher weight and more healthy, obviously they're going to be more healthy at maturity as well.
That makes perfect sense. And there's also some augmentation that can be done to products as well in as far as minerals. You guys have mineral supplies as well?
Absolutely. We've got mineral supplements. We've got 3 different products that can be used during the spring and summer months, and they are designed to help with antler development, to help with fawn development, as well as the lactation of does. We've also got products that the deer will eat in the colder weather. We've got one called Cutting Edge Sustain for fall and winter, and then we've got one that I think is tremendously important called Cutting Edge Initiate that's available or should be used, say, from about January until things green up in your part of the world. Provides a lot of protein, a lot of energy, a lot of minerals and vitamins. It's more of a nutritional supplement than it is a straight mineral supplement, and the deer will readily consume it.
That's excellent. So you guys really have the bases covered all the way around, it seems.
We spent a bunch of money trying to get them covered, and we feel like we've done well. We've still got some things we feel like we can do better. One of the questions that I got recently was, you got the best clover on the market by far, but you've got an agronomist and plant breeders on staff, and you're spending a bunch of money trying to develop new things. And something that we've always done is tried to make what is the best and continue to improve it. And that's one thing about Imperial Whitetail Clover. It's much better today than it was 20 years ago. It's much better today than it was 3 or 4 years ago, because we've been able to develop new varieties that are even better.
That's excellent. And funny that you mentioned that, because what I wanted to do is take a break and come back and talk about some of those new products that you might be working on, and some of the enhancements, maybe even some teasers that might be, a little sneak preview maybe of some things to come, obviously within bounds of not crossing over the line and telling any secrets. I'd like to, maybe take a break, come back and talk about that. Again, how can they get to your website? Throw the address at them again. That'd be great.
2 ways to get in touch with us. One is at our website, whitetailinstitute.com. And the other one would be our 800 numbers, 800-688-5600. 3030. And at both locations, if they want to get a lot of tremendous information, they can ask any questions they want. But we've also got that free DVD and a free sample of seed if they want to take advantage of that as well. All they'll pay is $6.95 for shipping and handling.
That's excellent. I'm with Steve Scott from the Whitetail Institute of North America, and we're going to take a break. We're going to come back on Today's Wilderness, talk a little bit about some new food plot material maybe that he might be able to allude to, see where we can go with that. We'll be right back.
Looking for some heart-pounding action? Then we have exactly what you're craving for. Fast-paced predator and varmint hunting straight from the state of Wisconsin. Join us today only at WisconsinVarminters.com.
TheTurkeyZone.net. We cater specifically to wild turkey hunters with top brand name hunting gear and exclusive turkey hunting tips on every page of our website. Visit us online today at TheTurkeyZone.net.
When little Ashley hits the water, she's loaded with information and an attitude. Let's check in on little Ashley, shall we?
Hey, mister.
Yeah, kid.
What you fishing for?
Catfish.
Catfish? Then you should be using some stink bait or tending a jug line.
Go away, you're bothering the fish.
Yo, coot.
Why, here's little Ashley again later in the day.
Going fishing?
I sure am.
Try the area around Brownwood with a pig stick or shaky head. There's some nice black bass.
So, you think that's a good spot, eh?
Just do it.
And Ashley even later in the evening.
Hey, old timer.
Eh?
If you're fishing for smallies, you should switch over to a green pumpkin tube or a Texas rig fluke.
You say the commies dropped a nuke?
I said, if you're fishing for it.
Get away from my gear.
Hey, buddy, I was just trying to help.
You little whippersnapper.
Maybe you just need a good swift kick in the for some motivation.
Why, if I get my hands on you, I'll teach you a lesson your mama should have taught you years ago.
You too can be just as well informed as little Ashley, without the attitude, by visiting OutdoorNewsDaily.com, your source for daily
Shut up already.
outdoor news.
And we're back on Today's Wilderness with my special guest, Steve Scott from the Whitetail Institute of North America. We've been having a really good conversation about Whitetail Institute, what offerings they have, talking about where they've come from, what Steve's role has been with the organization, and the many different products that they offer, traditionally have offered over the years, some of this, the ways that a person can get involved in food plotting and improving the quality and health of their animals. We talked a little bit about minerals in the last segment. That was fantastic information, how these things can help support lactation process, the cycle of incubation. That was fantastic. It was very good information. And I know that you guys, as you said, you have a staff of people who are working throughout the year, better enhance the products and come up with new products. Are there any products that some of the newest stuff or things that are out there that maybe haven't been out that long that we'd like to talk about?
Yeah, a couple of products that have just been recently introduced from us. One is a product called Winter Greens. It's designed to be planted in the late summer, early fall, and it is tremendous for late season hunting. It's a brassica product that we developed, and it's something that's kind of taken the hunt world by storm because it's easy to plant, grows fast, it produces a lot of tonnage, much less expensive to grow than corn. Corn's a great late season food plot for sure. As far as it's pretty expensive to grow, and this Winter Greens product works in a very similar way in that it's extremely attractive late season, especially when you get a little snow on the ground. I mean, it's tremendous. It's hard to keep them out of it. Another product that we introduced where we blended the brassicas from that wintergreen product with our winter hardy oat product called Pure Attraction. The oats draw the deer in the early season. The brassicas draw the deer in the late season. And it's been a tremendous product for us as well. Just a lot of deer been killed on it. Both products are planted late summer, early fall. As far as things we've got going on in the research area, we've still got our clover research going on. We spend a tremendous amount of money on that. Continuing what we've always done, and we've also started going back scouring the world and the country for various varieties that show potential on things that we want, from whether it be seedling vigor, nutritional capabilities, more cold hardiness, more drought tolerance, more heat tolerant, more longevity, more ease of establishment, aggressiveness, competing with weeds and grasses, and a lot of things that we can test for and select for. And we've got a PhD, a plant breeder, that's in charge of all that. He's exceptional. Matter of fact, he's been inducted into the Agricultural Hall of Fame. We're proud to have him with us. His name is Wayne Hanna. He's a great scientist and an even better man. We're proud to have him associated with us, and he's working on clovers, but also a lot of different things. We've got, I hate to say hundreds, but we've got, at this point in time, I'd say dozens of various things that we've got out testing that are in different stages. Some of them will never reach the marketplace because they just don't do what they need to do for hunters. Some of them will hit the marketplace, and people may see them here within the next 1 to 5 years. They may see some of those products hit the market. They've got to go through a pretty in-depth trial with us, and using product introduction usually takes from the idea in somebody's mind to the marketplace is anywhere from about 3 to 6 years before they ever get to the marketplace, because it's got to go through our testing here on our grounds, and then it goes through what we call satellite research facilities, which are all over the country. Everyday hunters planting them in everyday hunting conditions to make sure that they're going to do what they're designed to do.
That's excellent. You have people out there testing this stuff in different climates, different areas of the country that you're getting the reports back and monitoring that as well as part of your research. So you guys you're heavily invested in research.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the reasons that we've been here for 20 years and we're recognized as the leader in this industry. We legitimately do it. We don't just talk about it, but we've also been fortunate in that we've grown every year for 20 years, and the reason being is that I think is when people get the products, they do what they're supposed to do. They do what they're advertised to do. We support it with tremendous customer service, and at the end of the day, there's nothing better they can plant than Whitetail Institute product.
I put it out there all the time in the articles that we were discussing over at Deer Fever and deerfever.com and waterandwoods.net, the information about the Food Plus. It can't stress enough that only that nutrient that is over and above what that animal's body needs to sustain it every day can be turned into things like additional antler growth and whatnot. You touched on it, the proteins and increasing them, and you guys seem to have all of that covered. You really are a one-stop shopping for food plotting and animal nutrition. That's excellent. Is there anything, in this conversation that I haven't covered that the Whitetail Institute would like to share?
People buy benefits, and there's food plots. The benefits to food plots are numerous. We've talked about the ability to attract deer to your property. We've talked about the ability to provide better nutrition to the entire herd, bucks, does, fawns, etc. Also growing better quality bucks. All those things are facts. One of the things that maybe not talked about enough is the benefit to get new hunters involved, especially kids. And we're talking about this more and more. Kids today, they want action. They got computers, they got Nintendo and whatever else they do. They want something going on. And hunting can be slow, and that's one of the things I love about hunting. It is a slow sport, and when that one moment when you look and like a deer came out of the ground, it's a thrill. But kids, sometimes they don't have the patience to wait. What happens with food plots is it's a great way to get a kid introduced to hunting. With food plots, you can go expecting to see a deer as opposed to going out and sitting on a stump on a trail hoping to see a deer. The other thing people can do with a food plot during the off season, during the summer, they go in there and build them, whether it be a ground blind or something off the ground, but something enclosed, say 4 or 5 feet wide around, whatever they want to do, and enclose it to keep the kid warmer. Number one, give him a chance to move around a little bit. Things get slow, he may want to lay down and take a nap. The other thing it does, it gives you an opportunity to sit right there with him, spend a lot of quality time with a kid, explaining things to him. But at the end of the day, the chances are he's going to have some action. He's going to see some deer. Whether or not he shoots them, that's kind of irrelevant. As long as he's seeing something's happening, it's a great way to get kids hooked on hunting.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more on that. We all started somewhere.
Absolutely.
And this is a fantastic way to teach them about the animal itself, but about nutrition and how it all plays together, and building representation of hunters in the field later in life. I agree with you 100%. That's an incredible initiative that Whitetail Institute recognizes and is actually supporting.
Absolutely, and it's something that, it's a good deal. It's a win-win-win situation, and we highly recommend that, that whether it be granddads, dads, uncles, aunts, cousins, whatever it is, get the kids involved in the planting process. Let them get some dirt under their fingernails. It's a great learning experience. Riding the tractor, understanding what the disc is going on, and just get involved with the agricultural, and the kid's going to get a higher level, whoever's doing it, as well as the kid's going to get a higher level of satisfaction knowing that they've done something to help out.
Couldn't agree with you more. And the results that your company provides is obvious if you hit that website. I mean, the photo, the gallery, all of the pictures of those bucks that are on there, the facts, proof. It's an incredible resource for folks. Order the products right there. They can get the answers. You have the 800 number, the website. If you want to hit those again, I'd love for people to be able to have an opportunity to write this stuff down and go visit you.
Absolutely, and maybe that initial fear of, I don't know what I'm doing, that's okay. We all started not knowing what we're doing, and we can help anybody from a guy who is just now starting to think about it to the most experienced guy. We can help them, and we'd love an opportunity to help them. They can get information from us by going to our website at whitetailinstitute.com, or they can call our 800 number. We're open 8 to 5 Central Time, Monday through Friday. That 800 number is 800-688-3030, and one of the things I mentioned a couple times earlier that they can get if they'd like is our free DVD. It's brand new, about an hour long. Tremendous information on everything to do with food plots and deer nutrition, from planting food plots to maintaining food plots to how to hunt food plots, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We also provide a little sample of seed. They can get that. All they'll pay is shipping and handling, $6.95, and it's a great wealth of information that'll help them get started.
The one other thing that you guys provide, and I get this myself, apologize, I haven't brought this up before, is the magazine that you guys put out. You're pretty intricate in that process too as well, aren't you? Can you tell them real quick about the magazine?
Absolutely. It's a magazine called Whitetail News. We do it 3 times a year. Got a tremendous amount of information. We got what I consider the best writers in the world writing in there, from the Charlie Alzheimer's to the Bill Winkies and Brad Herndon, Jim Casta, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Some great writers that are writing not only about food plots, but deer management and just, general topics. The way people get that magazine is when they buy our products. We will provide them that magazine for 2 years. Guaranteed. One of the things we're doing when they buy those sample packages that we've talked about a few times, where they get the DVD and the sample of seed, we'll also guarantee them a few issues of Whitetail News when they buy that. It's anywhere from about 60 to 100 pages each time. It's got a wealth of information on there as far as, testimonials from people all across the country that have used it, mistakes they've made, things they've learned, and it just offers cutting edge information on deer management as well as food plots. And it's written in a way to where, everybody can get something from beginners to the expert.
I agree 100%. I get it. I always look forward to it. You can't miss it. It's a beautiful big magazine that comes out, and you're very high quality, very high quality in the material. Absolutely love getting that when it comes in the mail. That's another benefit from the Whitetail Institute North America for being a customer.
Well, I appreciate that. One of the things, if people want to get a kind of a feel for some of the articles that are in there, they can go to our website. As we talked about, whitetailinstitute.com, and when the homepage comes up, they click on the little icon there where Whitetail News, and we've got some stories there archived that have run in past Whitetail Newses. They get an idea about some of the stuff that we write about. We don't necessarily write about how to hunt a scrape line, but we're going to write up everything there is to write about food plots, how to do them, when to do them, what mistakes not to make, things that we've learned recently, and how to select different products, and everything from A to Z.
That's excellent. Steve, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being on the show with us today. I think we've, provided a ton of information for people as far as, getting food plots, getting started, getting kids involved, how much fun this can be, and how rewarding it can be. I greatly appreciate you being here and taking the time to sit with us and helping us promote today's wilderness and our network, and hopefully driving some business right back to you there and seeing you guys continue to come out with new products. Thanks again, Steve.
Kevin, I sincerely appreciate you letting us be on, and look forward to hopefully getting to do it again someday.
I guarantee you, if you're willing, I'm going to have you back on.
Well, one thing I'm not afraid to do is do some talking.
Thanks a lot. This has been Today's Wilderness with my special guest, Steve Scott from the Whitetail Institute of North America. I'm Kevin Gardner, your host. Thanks for listening.